Hi, this is Shifu Aaron at Dragon Phoenix Kung Fu in Asheville, North Carolina. Today I'm here to answer the question, how are the Chinese martial arts styles different from karate? Or the original terminology for it is karate, meaning empty hand. Um, and the biggest differentiation really comes from the way that the two cultures have developed differently. They have a lot of similarities, especially if you're like in America and you're like, oh, they're right next to each other, a lot of similarities. But when you get down to it, there's a whole lot of differences culturally. And in a way, a culture is influenced by the language and influences the language. And martial arts is like a language in a way, just as like different art styles or different languages, if you can look at it in that broader sense. And so the easiest way to say is like Chinese martial arts, there's hundreds of different styles of them, and there's a ton of variation within all of them. China's a very big country. And then Japan, much smaller country, not quite as much variation, a lot of similarity in the styles, a lot of differences in the styles too. And so it's hard to talk about just one versus the other. But the biggest thing to say is how the difference is mindset based on culture and how the art was derived out of that. And then within the Chinese styles, you've got the external styles, you've got the internal styles, you've got the animal styles, and so forth. And so I know this isn't a very satisfactory answer, but this is the best I got for you. And then we look at how the styles have been brought to the United States and how they're influenced here. A lot of people can't really tell much of a difference between karate and taekwondo. And the way that they've evolved, fairly parallel to each other in this country, that's understandable. They've got the belt systems, the same types of colors belts, uniforms, movements are very similar, although they're within any different style, there's going to be differences and variations. And even within a specific lineage and style, there's going to be differences in how different teachers teach based on that teacher's personality and outlook. So I think a lot of it really, kind of reiterating back, comes back to personality, outlook, influenced by culture. And so the way we have the Chinese martial arts in America are not quite as well known. You don't see them as often. So you can see pretty much every town's got a taekwondo school. Those are usually the really big ones. There's karate schools as well too. And maybe you might have a kung fu school. And people look at kung fu and they're like, hey, kung fu. And they don't think about, oh, what style of kung fu? Because again, there are hundreds of different styles. There's no one on this planet that could master all the styles of kung fu within a lifetime. It's just not possible. So there's the best I got for you, the difference between Chinese martial arts styles or kung fu and karate. So hopefully that helps a little bit. And if you got any questions, feel free to ask below. If you got a little bit more specific question, nuanced question, that might make it a little bit easier, and I'm happy to answer those for you.